All right, perfect.
Okay, Ali. So, Ali, can you just before beginning today's topics, right? Let's we have some questions and all those things, right? So,
Yeah.
can you just let me know what is HTML?
What is what?
HTML.
HTML is uh hypertext. Give me 1 second. Hypertext markup language.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is the use of it?
HTML is basically it makes web pages,
Mm-hmm.
makes web page which consists series of elements. It's a app or application that developers use to design
Okay.
um, whatever they need, whatever project, whatever how you I'm gonna say it. You told me yesterday don't use product. Whatever
Yeah. Software.
application
Application of
software,
software. Yeah.
yeah, whatever software they need to use, they use
Exactly.
HTML to make it.
Yeah. So HTML mainly used for the designing of the web pages, right? Designing of the
Yes,
application. Right?
yes, that's correct.
Now, what is AWS?
AWS is that's that's something that the development team uses is develop Amazon Web Services.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they use that to develop to make sure that everything is evolving the cloud and it's coming, it's maintaining and it's setting up and coming up into the system.
Okay. So it is used by the cloud engineer, right? Mainly the
Yes,
AWS is used by the cloud engineer.
yes, that's
Now,
correct.
okay. Now, what is Selenium?
Selenium is used by software testers. They use that to test the application itself to make sure it's working or not.
More on Selenium?
You want to know more stuff on Selenium?
Yeah.
Okay, so Selenium is an automated injection tool for web applications.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open source, freeware portable tool.
Mm-hmm.
It supports Java, Python, C, hashtag, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Groovy.
Mm-hmm.
Selenium can be used for Androids, iPhones, BlackBerry. It's a it's a application. It's a testing application base.
Okay.
Basically.
Now, as you say, Selenium used for the web-based application, right? So, what is web-based application?
What is web-based application?
Yeah.
Web-based application is anything that is not already downloaded into the computer. Anything that's required internet services online. So a web-based application could be, for example, WhatsApp. It requires the use of internet for us to use it. Uh, and something that's not web-based application could be like calculator because that does not require internet.
Mm-hmm. So you can also in simple term you can say is web-based application which required to access the browser like Google.com, Internet
Yeah,
Explorer. Yeah,
yeah.
right.
It basically requires internet. It requires IP settings,
Exactly.
APN settings.
So how you can use you can use from the browser, right?
You could use it from the browser. That's correct.
Exactly. So in simple terms, the web-based application that we normally use via browser to over the internet, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Exactly. And to test such application, we can use automation tool called Selenium, right? So now,
Yes, we could use Selenium.
so as you say, Selenium only work with the web-based application, right? That means Selenium do not work with the Windows-based application. You got my point?
No.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that
Selenium
is
is
the
only web
limitation.
based.
That is the limitation of Selenium, right? Now you
Yes,
will now you'll understand why I make you aware about the web-based application and Windows-based application, right? Because once you go
yes.
to
Now I'm
advanced
aware of
topic,
it.
yeah, once you go to advanced topic, you will realize what is when we need to use those stuffs and all those things. Okay. Now, Ali, let's quickly. Can you explain me the software test life cycle?
SLTC.
Yeah, SLTC.
So software lifecycle test is similar to SDLC itself. The only thing is, instead of working on the whole development, instead of working on the whole software development, you're only working on the tester part of the cycle.
Okay.
Um, Everything is almost the same. You you have to develop it. You have to make it. Um, it's the same thing as the cycle. How the cycle is.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is now, instead of you going back and forth between the developer or development or the designer of the software development lifecycle. Now you're only going to go to you won't go to the whole cycle. You're only mainly dealing with the software tester part of it, and in that part you have a quality insurance and a quality checking.
I
Uh,
think it's a wrong one. I think you can count out of 10, it's only get 2 marks if you describe like this way, right? The software test life cycle.
uh-huh.
Can you open your mobile and just see the image that I sent you?
uh, I am looking at. I'm not looking at the image, but I'm looking at the notes that I wrote myself. But give me a second. Let me look at the
No.
image.
Can you open the image and can you answer from that image what is STLC, software test life cycle?
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Don't mind. Yeah. So, software test lifecycle consists of 7 requirements,
Not requirement, it's 7 phases. When you says
7 phases.
requirement, that is one of the phase of the STLC.
Yeah. So it has 7 phases. It
Okay.
has the first phase is the requirement analyst, which is the what, which
Mm-hmm.
is software requirements specifications and business requirement documentation. They refer to that to see what they need to test. Then
Mm-hmm.
after that is the test planning, which is
Mm-hmm.
when they plan for it, they set the date, they see how many numbers they need, they do the analysis, and they do the type testing. Then after that is test development, which is how you create blank test sheets, steps, accepted output, actual output, test
Mm-hmm.
data, and results. Basically, the how part you could basically see is that's where they'll probably be using Selenium or something like that, because that's a web, they're using web. You need to create a blank test
Mm-hmm.
case, you need web services.
Mm-hmm.
If it's manual testing, then you could use non-web based browser. But if it's automatic testing, then you need a web-based browser.
Mm-hmm.
Other
Okay.
than that is test environment setup, which is the
Mm.
where it's a machine or a laptop or a desktop. That this is basically, since in IT we use good laptops, we use all the programs are already coded and downloaded to our desktops, to our files. That's why we need to use a laptop that our clients will have, a regular laptop with uh, factory I would say
Simple,
factory
simple configuration. You can just say
yeah,
simple
simple
configuration.
configuration,
Yeah.
right? Basically, all the apps that come with it, we don't add anything else. So then we're gonna test it on that.
Okay.
That's how you do the test environment setup.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we'll execute the step, which we'll take from step 3, and we'll perform the steps and record the results of the output. Then we report it, prepare the report and submit to the management. You run past, like you basically write, you ran it. This is what happened. These are the bugs that came. It's basically like an accountant. You enter the data,
Mm-hmm.
and the last part is test closure. You collect all the feedback from your team, the
No,
development.
if you are watching from the image, right, then there should be one more step, test
No, that's
reporting.
there's 7 steps. There's
No,
6, which is
test execution, then after you will have test reporting.
yeah. I told you about test reporting. That's when
Okay,
you
okay,
run, pass, field, skip, bug.
okay,
That's you
got it.
see how many tests you ran.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah, you prepare and you submit to the management team, and then when you submit your report, it's like an accountant. I told you, they have everything written down, like what they did and what they
exactly,
found from the test that they ran.
Exactly. So all those things are part of SDLC, right? Not about the QA and QC and verification and validation. That is totally different. You got my point. Now, what is
Yeah.
verification and validation?
What's the difference between verification and validation?
Yeah, or just give the simple definition. What is verification you mean, and what is validation you mean?
Okay, so when we say verification, it's the quality insurance. They
Hmm.
make sure that they're using the right software to develop. And
No, they focus on the process, right? They
yeah, right
focus on
process to develop the software.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the quality insurance, they verify that they're using the right process to develop the software. Whether
Mm-hmm.
quality control or validation, they build the right software.
Mm-hmm.
So the main difference between the two is one of them they use black box. They just throw numbers in the air to see how everything is going to happen, and whatever the results are, they will write down. They don't really go in depth detail of how it will come out. But the quality control QC testing, that what they do is they actually sit down with the white box and line by line, term by term, they make sure that whatever data that is supposed to be entered into the system is entered into the system, so they don't have to mess up with anything. That they
No,
it's
Ali, I think you are just saying totally wrong definition. So do one thing after today's session, just watch the our yesterday recording once again. You got
no,
my
I
point?
did. I'm looking at the thing right now. You said it last week. The quality insurance engineer is
It,
they focus on the testing and the which are developer or tester for the software,
so
right?
quality
And
assurance do the black box testing.
what happened?
Quality assurance will do the black box testing, as you just says, right? The quality assurance
Yeah,
do the
because the thing is they don't the quality insurance they will do the black box testing. Yeah.
no. I bet you I never told like this way. If you watch my video, I never told like this way. The quality assurance do the black box testing.
Because I have like
Because black box testing is,
on one of the sheets
see,
that one of the screenshots that I took. So
can
it
you
says
can you send me the screenshot? Can you just show
no,
me?
I'm
Yeah,
reading it to you right now. Let me tell you what. So you have it says software testing and you have
hmm,
two columns. It says quality engineer, quality assurance,
yeah,
and then on the other side it says QC engineer, quality
yeah.
checking.
Now
Right?
where I have mentioned in the QA, you do the black box testing. Can you send me that screenshot? I want to see.
No, you didn't write that you do black box testing and that. But then the second video that you wrote, you put one side you put black box testing, on the other side you
Yeah.
put
So
white
that is
box testing.
totally different topics. You see, whatever I wrote in the left side, that does not mean they all are interconnected. You got my point. If I have written the left side QA, right, that does not mean if I write the left side the Java programming, that means QA do the Java programming. You got my point.
Mm-hmm.
That black box
Yeah,
testing and white box testing is that it's a totally different things. They are the method of software testing. You got my point.
yeah,
They are not related at all with the QA and QC. 1%. Got my point?
yeah.
Yeah. So I have one screen. I can divide the screen in two parts. So I have to write left side and right side. Simple. So if I explain you one topic and I just says, okay, this topic will have two parts, that means that is specific to that screen only. You cannot combine all the screen left part and all the screen right parts, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
you see on that two screen, I have also put the header on the top. So when I was explaining the black box testing and white box testing, I have mentioned they are the method of software testing.
Yes, I see it on the top.
Yeah,
That's correct.
exactly. Yeah, so the QA and QC is totally different. You got
Okay.
my point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm asking you, just watch the video carefully again. Try to understand what I am talking on the topics. It will give you, it will make more sense. You got my point. You know the answer, but you mix up the answer. You got my point.
Yes.
Yeah, you know the things. Okay, this has been covered, but when and where it is covered, you have to just refer the video twice. This is not also, if I am learning, I cannot get everything on first. Once I watch the video only one time, right? I have to refer it one or two times, then I will understand, okay, this is what and this is what.
Yeah.
You got my point? Yeah. Now let me share my screen, and we will start from where we have just left the last session. Okay. 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 QA, QC, STLC, QA, QC we covered, right? Then we covered what is the role of software tester in the company, right? And then black box testing, white box testings, right? What is difference between them? Then now today we need to discuss about the software testing types, right? What are the different types of software testing, right? So you know what is software testing. Ali, can you just give me the definition of software testing? Ali, hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, a software tester is based on information produced in the above step, decided how it is supposed to be tested. That's,
Uh-huh.
other than that, they create the design, they process a test, they have test cases, and then they have test data.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they execute all the tests that they take. They report any defects. They
Mm-hmm.
find severity and prioritize for each defect.
Mm-hmm.
They participate in walkthrough of testing procedures,
Mm-hmm.
participate in design review, and provide input on requirements, product design, and potential programs.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So we can say like this way, the software do the software test life cycle, right? Whatever the
Yeah.
activities we have in the software test life cycle, the software do the same thing, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, what is the type of software testings, right? See, never get confused. Methods are black box, white box. What is the different options? Like how we can describe the software testing? We have quality assurance and quality checking. Then now we will have types of software testing, right? So
Hmm.
there are two types of software testing: the functional software testing, the functional testing, and non-functional testing, right? Functional testing and non-functional testing. Now, what does that mean, right? So let's suppose if we have one form, right? We have one form, and that form will have name checkbox, age box, date of birth box, right? Date of birth box. Then we will have email ID, right? And then we have simple, we will have, I will just say, submit button, right? This is a 1 hour simple form, right? This is user registration form. You got my point? So user will put their names, they will put their age, they will select the date of birth, and they put their email address, and then they will just say click on submit, right? So they will do
Yes.
these stuffs. So this is the part of software test, functional software testing and non-functional software testing. So this is the example. Now suppose this is our URL, right? This is our URL, http www.zuzu.com, and then it says login.php, right? This is a page that we normally hit to the URL, normally we hit to the browser to access this application. You got my point? We hit
Hmm.
on the URL to access this application, www.juzu.com, right? So this simple, this is not the correct website maybe, but this is what we have in our application, right? So this is the application. Now what is functional testing? The functional testing means we are testing the actual features and function of the application. right? So we do the actual testing of feature and functions available in our application. That is called functional testing. So now what is the feature of this application, right? This is a user registration form. User registration form, right? So what is the feature we can say is, okay, why we use this form? We use this form to register a new user, right? We use we use this form to register new user, right? So what is the requirement, what is the feature we are doing, what is the function we are doing? The function says register a new user. That is our function, right? That is our function that we are doing. You got my point? What we are
Yeah.
doing over here, we are using this form to register a new user, right? If we have a login page, then we use that login page form to allow the user to log in, right? So that is the functional requirement. Functional requirement means we are testing the actual function and features available on the screen, and that is called functional requirement. Now suppose if I need to test this application, what I will do, simple test case, right? So first test case, user should get created successfully once enter correct data, right? This is my first test case. If I enter the correct first name, last name, or correct name, age, date of birth, and everything I will enter correctly, right? Then system should register that user into our system, right? It says okay, user is registered successfully. Second, user should get warning message if they enter invalid or incorrect data, right? Incorrect data, and click on submit.
Yeah.
Suppose yeah, if you enter wrong information in age, right? In age you enter male and female, right? So in age you need to enter your numerical value like 23, 25, 27, right? It will not take male, female, or any character value. So at that time system will give you the proper warning message. The numerical value only allowed in the name field, right, or in the age field, right? Then the third says special character, right, like are not allowed in name field, right? So if you're entering your name, right, so you need to enter the name like this way. Example, Ankit, right? And not allowed one will be, you cannot enter the name like this way, right? You need to enter the proper name, Ankit. If you enter the special character or numerical value, it is not allowed, right? So system will give you the error. Then fourth test case, uh, only numerical values are allowed from range 18 to 72 in age field, right? So you cannot enter the character like ABC or male, female, or your name in the age field, right? And what another validation they have given, you need to enter the age range from 18 to 17. So you cannot enter 17, you cannot enter 75 as well. You have to enter something between 80 to 72, which is the valid entry for the age field, right? So this is how you do the testing of actual function, actual parameters available on the screen. That is called functional testing. You got my point?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so this is the functional testing, right? This is normally what people think when they thought about the testing, right? This is what normally people think. Then what is non-functional testing? Any idea, Ali?
So a
Okay.
non-functional will be, I believe, something that's not actual, something that they just put into the system.
No, let me tell you. So the non-functional testing means you are not testing the feature or functionality of the application, right? Suppose we have this URL, right? Now let's suppose if you go to the Amazon.com, right? And you just says Amazon.com and hit enter. Suppose if Amazon.com take, you see it's getting a wrong page, or if you take very long to load, right? If it takes very long to load, then what you will do? You got my point. So that is
Mhm.
called, you have the very less performance. The performance of the Amazon website is not that good, right? So if you want to buy something, you have to wait for many times after clicking on any button, after clicking on any button, right? So that is the part of the first testing. I will just say is non-functional testing is performance testing, right? You want to make sure if the website is loading fine as per expected time duration, right? So let's suppose if you have given the time criteria 10 second, right? So system should load within a 10 second. Otherwise the performance is not good, right? You will not count that website as a good in the performance. So you give the criteria of 10 second to page load, to load the website, right? Then suppose another things, once you are on any website, let's say ebay.com, right? ebay.com, you are on the ebay.com, you see how quickly this website loaded. ebay.com, let's suppose if you take 10 second or 15 second, then it will not give the good user experience. People will think, okay, I will not go and buy from this website, I will go to another website, right? So this is one thing, loading of website should be quick enough. Then again, whenever you click somewhere, you see, when I click on the electronics, it should load the electronics product very quickly. So I am requesting to give me the list of the electronic product, and server is responding with the all the electronic products, smartwatch, video game, computer, camera, everything on my screen in one click, right, within a 5 second. So we can say, yeah, it is good on performance side, right? So it should give quick response to all user request, and criteria will define 0 to 5 second, right? If it is taking more than 30 seconds, then people will get bored, they will not buy from your website. This is okay, performance is very poor for this website, this is not good website, right? If you have the if you have the bad experience with the amazon.com, and if you are suggesting your friend, you just says, no, no, do not buy from the Amazon, their website is very slow, go to this one or go to this company website, right? It will give you the better performance, and you will make your order successfully in easiest way. So that is one thing we says performance testing, right? That is non-functional testing. You got my point? Then
Yeah.
in the performance testing, we will got load testing and stress testing. We will learn in detail of these things later on, but these are the part of performance testing. You got my point? These are the parts of performance testing. The load testing
Yes.
and performance testing. How the load is going to be tested, how the stress going to be tested is part of performance testing. Now, another thing is that stability, right? Stability testing means we need to make sure if our application is stable or not, right? Or sometimes you can just say scalability, scalability testing, right? So you just says your application is scalable or not. That means your application can be scalable from one hosting to another hosting, right? Suppose if you are using the Apache hosting, right, and you want to go with the AWS hosting, so you want to make sure your application is scalable or not, right? Your application can go to another hosting or not. If you can enhance any new feature in your application, they are able to catch up or not. So scalability testing is also a non-functional testing, right? Then the next thing, security testing. You must be aware about the security testing, right? Each and every website will have the login page, username and password. That is the standard structure of security testing, right? So we make sure application is used by authorized authorized sorry authorized users only, right? So if you log into your website, right, if you want to log into amazon.com, if you want to buy something, you first have to register yourself, right? Once you register, you will get the email, right? Initially before 5 years, when you register with the fake email or something, right, application were used to allow you to log in with that detail, right? Even though if you do not have the valid email address or valid number. But now each and every company does, whenever you enter the email address, right, they will send you verification message. to validate your email, right? Then they will send OTP to your mobile number to make sure you are valid user or not, right? Sometimes they
So,
put the
so
captcha.
these are all non-functional testing.
Yeah, security testing is the non-functional testing. They sometimes
Okay.
put the captcha to verify you are
Okay.
valid user or not, right? So this is
Okay.
all this part is the security testing. We do all those things. We validate email address, we send the OTP, we send all those things. So this is we do to make sure we have the correct user to log into our application, right? So this is the call, this is fall under the non-functional testing. So performance testing, load and stress testing, scalability testings, security testing are all non-functional testing, right? So are you clear about?
Yeah, I'm clear about it.
So functional testing and non-functional testing. Now these are the two types of testing. Now we have many types under the non-functional testing. We will have many types under the non-functional testing, right? So we go one by one on those tops. But before that, we covered the software testing types, right? Now I will go and I will go and show you what are the different level of software testing. Okay.
Okay.
So I will close this one and I will just say level uh, level of software testing. Level of software testing, right? Different levels we have for the software testing. Now suppose we got our application, right? But the customer says I want to build a Amazon, or I want to become one application which is Zuzu.com. This is e-commerce website, right? I want to build, right? Then customer says it will have 12 requirement and 3 modules, right? So it says first module will be the customer module, login. Sorry, first module will be the product module. Second will be the uh, order module, and then we have payment modules, right? So you see, any application will divide like this way. Any application will divide like this way: requirement and number of module it have, right? Then what are the different module we'll have? If you go to the amazon.com or ebay.com, right, you see the different modules. You see sales is one modules, then help and contact is one modules, then we have summary modules, bid and watch list module. Everything is divided in the modules. Then that modules will divide in the functionality. So suppose the product module will have 3 requirements or 4 requirements, right? 4
Mhm.
requirements. Then order page have 4 requirements. Then payment page will have 4 requirements. So you got 12 requirements, 3 modules, right? This is how they have divided, right? This is how they have divided. Now the customer asking the company, I want this application to be ready as soon as possible, right? I do not want to delay. I want this all the modules and this zuzu.com created as soon as possible, right? So now this application is assigned to the project manager, right? So project manager says, okay, no worries, I have total 9 developers, I have 3 testers, I have 3 designers who gonna work on this application and finish this in 2 weeks, right? If we have
Mhm.
more resource, we can do the work fast. If we have less resource, then we need to increase this time. If we have only 111, then it might be take 2 months for us to complete this one, right? But as per the customer, they want as soon as possible. That's the reason project manager says, okay, I need this resource to finish this application in 2 weeks, right? Then management says, yeah, this is approved, you can go and finish this application in 2 weeks, right? So what I will do now, you see, this is my applications, right? This is, suppose this is www.zuzu.com, right? This is www.zuzu.com. Now we will have three modules: product module, right? Product page, product information over here. Then we will have order module. Then we will have payment module, right? So we will have these things in our application, right? These are the three modules we have, right? Now suppose I want the project manager. I am the project manager. I says, okay, everybody cannot work on all the things, right? So I need to divide the task. So what I did, I ask, I divide this task in three terms: product module, order module, and payment module, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I ask my developer, I ask my developer number 1, 2, and 3 to work on product module. Tester 1 will be work on this one, and designer 1 will be work on this one, right? So this is the team of 5 is going to work on only product module, right? Then I again says my developer, another 6 developer is still remain. So I says developer 4, 5, 6, and tester 2 and designer 2 is going to be work on order module, right?
Mhm.
Then we have last 3 developer, which is developer 7, 8, 9, and tester 3, and designer 3, right? So they're going to work on the last module, which is the payment module, right? Now suppose they are all working on their respective task, right? And after 1 week they says, okay, our modules are working fine and ready to go, right? So these 5 people says we are totally responsible for this product module, right? And it is working fine. Now these 5 people says we are totally responsible for order modules and we are confident it is working fine. Now this 5 people says we are responsible for payment module and it is working fine, right? So as a project manager, what I will do, I will just make sure, okay, everything is working fine at the individual module. You see, individual is module is working fine. Now I am asking my team, this team, to team up and combine and make the integration of product module plus order module, right? They will make sure all the functionality should work together. So whenever user will select any product, they should place the order successfully, right? And the same way I will ask my team to integrate these two modules, right? So whenever user prepare any order, right, it should make the successful payment as well. So order module plus payment module. Are you following, Ali? Right, Ali? Ali?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, so this is how they are gonna integrate now. So you see, individually it is working fine. Now they want to see if the two modules together work or fine or not, right? If these two modules together working fine or not. Now, on the second week, they says, yeah, everything is working fine together, right? Now the final day, what they will do? Okay, combine all the modules, right? Combine all the modules and test it one again, right? So now it says product module plus order module plus payment module, right? This is okay. Now integrate the code from all the things and check if it is working fine or not. So once user select the product, then user should make the order for those product, and once user select place the order, they should able to make the payment successfully. So all these three modules should work successfully together, right? So they integrate everything, and now you see this is working for these modules, this is for these modules, and this is for these modules, right? So now let me just show you one thing. What the initial stage they do, what initial stage they did, that is called unit testing, right? This is called unit testing, where each module get tested independently, right? Each module get tested independently. So that is called unit testing. What is unit testing? In the unit testing, we develop and test each and every modules independently. Now this is integration testing. The second part is integration testing, right? Where we test two or more modules together, and we just make sure if they are working fine or not, right? So that is called integration testing. Now everything is done, right? Then over here we did the system testing, right? So we integrate all the modules, all the sub modules, and we prepare one system and we did the testing. That is called system testing, right? And at the end of the day, when system is ready, what we will do, we will call the customer. Now this project manager will call the customer and just says, okay, let's sit one day and I will show you how we have done this development, how we have created this application, what are all the modules are working and how it is working. Let's have 6 hour session and I will show you complete application from one point to the last point. So that is called UAT testing. UAT, that means user means customer acceptance testing, right? So in this testing, we are doing the testing with the customer itself. We are not doing the testing with the tester. We are calling the customer and we are saying, okay, let's do the testing together. So if we found any bug, we can raise to our developer. But at the final stage of the testing, it is very less chance to get the bug. Why? Because we already done the unit testing, we already done the integration testing, we already done the system testing. Now we are just going with the UAT to make sure our customer is happy before we upload that product to the AWS server, like the production server or developer server, right? So this is the level of testing. These are the different levels of testing. You got my point?
Yeah.
So what are the different levels of testing? Can you just let me know?
The different levels of testing are unit testing, integration testing,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one is system testing.
System testing, and then we have one more.
Then the UAT, the user acceptance testing.
Exactly. This is also the one level of testing. Never underestimate that one as well. This is the level of testing we do. You got my point?
Yeah.
Perfect. So these are the 4 levels of testing. Now, do not mix up the levels of testing, the methods of testing, the types of testing, because I know at initial stage it looks very confusing. But if you listen this video 2 or 3 times, you will understand, okay, what are the levels, what are the types. Types means functional and non-functional. Method means black box testing, white box testing. You got my point? QA and QC is totally different things. You no need to mix up those part over here, right? They are totally different. They will not ask you what is the QA means, right? The QA is the process. You can also consider is a process of testing, right? Where the QC is also a process of testing. You got my point?
Yeah.
Okay, so level is all clear, right? Over here, we have one application. We divide the application on different modules. We develop the modules. We test the modules independently. Once module are working fine, then we mix up the modules and integrate them each other, and we do the integration testing. When all the modules are working fine and integration testing are working fine, then we combine everything, modules, sub modules, everything, and we do the as a complete system testing. And once the system testing is done, we do the user acceptance testing. You got my point? So this is
Mm-hmm.
how the testing levels are going to be work. Okay?
Ankit, can you like not today,
Yeah.
maybe the next time we meet, can we like take each role, like the level of software testing and the method of software testing
Yeah, yeah.
on one page
What? See,
and
see.
okay.
No. See, why I should write over there instead of that? You write over there, and I will correct you. You got my point?
No, no, I'm already doing it. But what I'm doing is on on one window, like at the end when we were viewing. That's what I'm saying at the end. So I have everything on the same page. You know what I mean?
I
Where I
am,
have
yeah, Ali, I am
like
telling, I can write in 5 seconds. This is not a big deal for me, but this will not help in your learning, to be honest. If you want to learn,
okay.
take your notepad, just write down on the left side level of testing, then write down all the levels, then also write the types of testing, write down all the types, then write the method of testing, then write down all the method, then again on the same screen write down SDLC phases, then software development life cycle phases, then again write down on the same screen software test life cycle phases, right? So make one notes by yourself, and this is why I give the assignment to you guys, right? You should
Mhm.
understand these things.
You
You
know,
got my
that's right now. Like me talking to you, I have my cell phone open right now. I have
hmm.
another screen open right now, and then I have your screen open. So like that's I'm looking at 3, 4 different screens to answer you that. I'm more
but
like trust.
but but why you are focusing on 3 4 screen, right? You need to just focus on my screen when you
No,
are
when you
learning.
ask me something, when you ask me something.
But I will only ask in the beginning when I
Yeah,
whenever.
that's no, that's why that's what I'm telling you. Like when I start with you, I have all my screens open to make sure that most of the stuff I already know it by heart. But then if you when you go in detail, then I open the screen and then I look
And
at my assignments, what I wrote to answer you.
I will tell you why you get confused, right? Because if you listen the video twice, you will not get confused. Trust me. You
Okay.
got my point. This is
Yeah.
not about one go, Ali. Try to understand, this is not about one go, right? This is, you need to refer at least twice or 3 times, then you will understand, and that then it will give the clear picture, right? If suppose if somebody asks me to write the notes from this session, right, I will make the notes, I will listen the session, I will write the things, I will just, okay, these are the levels of testing, these are the types of testing, right? So I never get confused. If I watch the, if I see this 2 or 3 times, right, I never got confused on those stuffs.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so if I will do, then it's always remain I will do, right? So I want you to listen this video and you do these steps. For me it will not take more than 1 minute to list down everything on the screen, but I want you to learn the things. You got my point? If you get confused, just let me know, I will write down for you, but first you try. You got my point? If I want
Hmm.
to give the notes, let me see one thing. If I need to give you the notes, right, you see how many pages I have written.
Yeah.
You see, I can only give these notes to you and just say, okay, just go and refer, right? And whenever you get the interview, just crack the interview from these things. This is not how you will run. You got my point. I have many things to give you, which is already written. You see, this is how I make my notes. This is not copy from anywhere. I watch the video, I understand, I also highlight. See, I have the 10 year of experience. Still, I have to remember the things in like this way. I have to highlight few things which will catch up in my eyes. You got my point? So this is
Uh-huh.
how you need to learn. What is cross-browser testing? What is cross-site testing? So this is how I read couple of articles. I read couple of things. Then I wrote in my word, and when I do like this way, I will never miss out anything when I answer such questions. And that's the reason I am asking you. You show the notes from the Khawla, right? And today you will see the recording when I took the training for Khawla and Anthony, right? They are able to answer all the questions. Why? Because this is, we listen the video at least 3 times. From that video we write up our things, and then we go to the Google and we compare our things. And if you thought, okay, this we need to add, then we add those things our notes. If you learn these things like that way, you will learn once and you will remember lifetime. You
Yeah.
got my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how you need to do, right? This is how you need to do the level of testing, right? So the next things we're going to learn, right, about the different types of testing, right? So we take the functional testing types. Functional testing types, this is the subtypes, you can say functional types, functional testing types. Two types are non-functional and functional, but now under the functional we have different things. You got my point? So I will cover
Yeah.
the major things. So under the functional testing, we have smoke testing, we have sanity testing, we have regression testing, right? Then we will have end-to-end testing, right? Then we will have, okay, let's focus on these four things as of now. So there are many, there are at least 56 types of testing, 56 or 65 types of testing, but not all of them are important, right? So we will learn only on these things. What is mock testing, sanity testing, regression testing, and end-to-end testing, right? Let's suppose let's suppose we got one a customer, right? We got one customer. This is let me take this on this side. Okay, we got one customer, right? One customer says, I want to release version my first version of my application Zuzu, right? This is my application Zuzu. So I want to release my first version of my application. Sorry, sometimes okay. Sorry, and this is why this is how, because if I write like this way, it will be easy for you to remember, right? So my customer says I need my first version 1.0, right? Zuzu.com. Zuzu. This is my application name, like Amazon, Swiggy, Zomato, right? This is my Zuzu. This is my application. I want to release my first version with 12 requirement, right? With, or we just says 10 requirement in March 2020. I will just say 31st March 2020, right? This is the target that our customer has given to us, right? We need to develop this application before the March, right? So we can release these things on the March, right? So now what our team will do, so developer will create the application with these 10 requirements, right? And they will give to the tester. So developer, right, develop the application. Now number of requirement we will have, okay, version, first version we will have 1, number of requirement we will have 10, right? And we need to release, then we will give the tester to test on 20th March, right? We need to give the buffer time, right? So any bug the tester will come up, we can resolve in 10 days. So this is how the developer will set up their target. So first version, number of requirement they have 10, right? And they're gonna give the tester to test this application on 20th March. So if tester will come up with any bug, right, they can resolve that bug in that 10 days. So you see, they keep the 10 days gap. Tester keep the 10 days gap, 31st March and 20th March. So they have 10 days to resolve any bug raised by the tester, right? Now once the application is ready, right, they give to the tester. Understand, first version, right? No testing has done so far because this is the fresh version. So now tester will come into the picture, right? Tester is come into the picture. Now suppose this is Zuzu.com is a web-based application. So if it is a web-based application, what developer has given to the tester to test? Can you tell me?
Zuzu.com. So he basically has to go to Zuzu.com and make sure all the 10 requirements that the customer required are there.
Exactly. So they have given the URL. Understand? They have given the URL, right? The URL means something like this way. This is a URL. This is a URL, right? Whatever we type in the internet to locate the application, this is the one URL, ebay.com. So same as URL, right? They give the URL to the developer to test is Zuzu.com, right? They says, okay, this is our application URL and go and do the testing for these 10 features, right, which we have developed. So now suppose tester at the initial level, what they did, they just copy the URL, right, copy the URL and paste into their browser, right? And they says zoo something like that, and they paste, okay, this is, oh, the site cannot be reachable, that means something wrong, right? They says, okay, we are getting the error or initial stage. So what they will do, they will take the screenshot and send email to the developer. This is what happened when I enter that URL in my browser, right? So that is called something is failed at initial stage, right? At the initial stage, that is called smoke testing. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
Something is failing at the initial stage. Before we go to test that 10 requirement, we just check the application on initial phase and it's failing. That is called smoke testing. Smoke test means build verification test, right? It is also called as build. So smoke test, that means build verification, means we are verifying the build means whatever developer give us to testing, that is called build verification testing, right? So smoke testing means initial level of testing. Initial level of testing before we go in detailed level of testing. That is called smoke testing. You got my point?
Yeah.
Because you see over here, the URL itself is not working, right? If URL is not working, then how you gonna test this 10 requirement? You are not able to test that 10 requirement. You got my point? So
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do, you need to first need a correct URL to test, right? You need first correct URL to test. So that is called smoke testing, right? Now developer says, oh sorry, we just give you the wrong URL, right? This is the correct one. So now developer again give us the URL, says okay, hit this URL. Then we again go to the browser, and this time we says juju.com, and we just, oh yeah, this is something opening correctly. Now we can do our testing. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
So that is called sanity test. Now the second steps will come over here is sanity testing. Sanity testing, right? So we are going to test the 10 requirement. 10 requirement one by one, detailed testing, right? That is called sanity testing. You got my point? Now we focus on this 10 requirement because we have the correct URL. We are able to access the URL. So in the sanity testing, we will go to that all the test requirement one by one, right? And we will do the sanity testing. Now suppose once sanity testing is done, right? That means our actual testing is done, and we are telling our developer or cloud engineer, okay, upload this application to the client server URL, right? So they will take our application and upload to the production server. Now once we have that application on production server, right, or the development server, right, we will do the regression testing. We will do the regression testing, right? So what is regression testing is, let me just tell you. Regression testing means you check each and every web element on screen are working fine or not, right? This is called regression testing. Means you will check each and every web element, right, on the screen if it is working fine or not. So for me, if I want to just say, if I want to do the regression testing of this screen, then I will click on every element. You see, I will click on everything, and I will make sure it is working fine or not. You see, yeah, when I click on sign in, it's open the sign in screen. When I click on registration, it create the registration page. When I click on the daily deals, it give me the daily deal screen. The customer service give me the customer service screen. That means everything on my screen are working fine. Every web element means every text box, I am able to write in this text box. Once I write, I can able to click on the search. So everything is working as per the application. I am able to click on everything. This is not about we are following standard process. We are just making sure our application is working fine on all the modules. You got my point? That is called regression testing, right? Now suppose customers is happy with this all the testing, and customer says our version 1 is working fine. We are getting very wonderful feedback from the our customer, our end user. Now we want to go with the version 2. And that version 2 will have the another new requirements, another 10 new requirements, right? So what is the total number of requirements now, Ali?
20.
20. Yeah, now we have this application in the version 2, we have 20 requirements. And release date, when we need to release, this is okay, we need to release on 6th of June 2020, right? Because it's a very good day for us, and we need to release on this day. You got my point? So this is the release date. This is the total number of requirement now. This is a new requirement, right? This is a new requirement. This is the total number of requirement, and this is version 2, right? This is not the version 1 now. Again, what developer will do? Developer will give the URL to the tester, and they will validate the URL. If they are able to access the URL correctly, right? Correctly. That means they can good to go with the detail level of testing, right? They are good to go with the detail level of testing, right? Then they will start the sanity testing, right? So sanity test over here, they will take the 10 requirements, right? 10 requirements, which is not from 1 to 10, which is 11 to 20 new requirements only. You see, new requirements. You got my point?
Mhm.
They are not testing old requirement, old 10 requirement. They are testing the new requirements, 11 to 20, one by one, detailed level, right? Along with that, they are taking any 5 requirements from the old 5 requirements from the old 10 requirements and make sure they are also working fine, right? So they want to make sure the new requirement is not interrupt the old requirement, right? So they do the both level of testing. They will make sure whatever the new things we have added to our application, it should not disturb the old requirement. So they cannot go with the 10 requirements details, but they will check only 5 requirements from the top view. They will just see few of the functionality if it is working fine or not, right? In the sanity test. Now, if sanity test is done, again developer hosts the application to the production, and now the regression testing can be done for all the 20 requirements, right? So all the points, tester will go quickly and check all the web elements are working fine on all screen. Anything breakdown, any link is not working, any button is not working, any image is not displayed, something like that. So everything they will verify quickly in the regression testing, right? And what we do in the automation we will do mainly to do the regression testing, because regression testing is very simple but it's time consuming, right? Suppose if you have 200 requirement, right, you have 200 things to test, right? Then in the regression it will become very much time consuming, and that's the reason people use the automation testing to overcome the overload of the regression testing. You got my point?
Yeah.
So smoke test, sanity test, and regression test. Got my point?
Yeah.
So this is the type of functional testing. This is the functional testing, right? This is the functional testing. Now what is end-to-end testing, right? End-to-end testing means testing the application from starting point to end point, right? Let's suppose, let me give you the one example. You are doing the testing for the e-commerce website, right? So you check the payment page independently, like unit testing, payment page is working fine. Then you check the new customer login, and new customer is also working fine. Then you check the product page is also working fine, right? Now we need to do the end-to-end testing. That means you are testing the application from first point to the last point. So you do the continuous testing. So what you will do, okay, you first go to the amazon.com, then you register new user, and you use that new user detail to select the product. Once you select the product, you put the same product into the order. Once you place the order, you make the payment successfully, and once you make the payment successfully, you will make sure whatever the successful message come onto the screen are make sense or not, right? So from registration to placing the order, that is called end to end, right? For
Hmm.
any user, it is from end to end. You are not checking only registration. Once the registration is done, you are also checking if you are able to select the right product. And once you are able to select the right product, search the right product, are you able to place into the order page, into the cart or not? Once you are able to place in the order page, are you able to make the payment successfully or not? So you are testing the application as a kind of end user, right? How the end user is going to be access your application. That is called end to end testing. Means you test the application from the first point to the last point.
Okay.
You got my point? That is end to end testing. So these are the different functional testing types you need to make sure when you understand, when you talk about the testing and all those things. And I think let's keep this thing as of now. This is pretty much good to know. You got my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. But as I told you, right, there are many things in term of the functional testing. There are many things in terms of the functional testing. So what is your assignment now? Your assignment first you need to also do the yesterday's assignment, right? Try
Yeah.
not to just complete the assignment, Ali. This is, I'm not going to give you the marks and I will just say okay 10 out of 10 and something like that. I want you to do the assignment so you can learn the things. You got my point? If you do not do the assignment, then also fine for me, but you should answer my questions correctly, right? This is because this is going to help you at all, right? Once you give the
Yeah.
interview, it will, they will ask you the question like this way. If you do not have the basic understanding, even though this is something the answer, right, but you mix up the questions, then again it creates the wrong impression, right? So just
Yeah.
always make sure the questions that we have asked are answered in the correct way, right? And try to make it simple, try to understand the things with the real time example. When you understand the things with the real time example, it always easy to remember. Okay.
Hmm.
Then you need to just write as an assignment, right? Different testing types, right? Then detailed levels of testing, right? Then functional testing, definition and examples, right? Definition and example. The smoke testing, sanity test, regression test, and end-to-end test. This is the four testing you need to make sure. But in the market, there are 20 more, right? So I want you to refer all those things and give me the some example. One example for just definition an example, right? For 20 more, if you go and Google just says different type of functional testing, you will get the list of testing. In that you will see everything: smoke, sanity, regression. Then you will also say the unit testing, integration testing, system testing, right? These are also part of the functional testing, right? So just go and get one example of it, right? You need to just understand that is well enough so you can explain to me as well, right?
Yeah.
There is one the famous saying on the learning, right? If you are able to explain the 5-year-old kid, right, that means you have understand the concept in the correctly. You got my point? So always understand the concept with the real time example, it will help you a lot, right? If you struggle to get the real time example, just says okay Ankit, can you give me one example for smoke testing, can you give me the one example of end to end testing, I will definitely give you, right? But I want you to first try from your side.
All right.
Okay. And then that one complete chart which will have all the details, right? That you told me right at the end of the session, but I want you to take a notepad in your free time, open a MS Paint and write down like this way. I am doing this in front of you many times, right? Now you know how to do these sums. Utilize your screen, write down type of testing, method of testing, different level of STLC, different level of STLC. Try to make the one image that you can use in lifetime for your learning purpose. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Perfect. And I will upload this recording to the same screen, so all our session will have the 10 minutes question answer session. Then we will learn the new things. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, take care Ali, we will talk later in the middle of the week now. Okay.
All right. No problem.
Perfect, take care, bye.